Hey caregivers, this episode and this tip is going around the question of, should your parents move in with you? Now, you got to think about your situation and your family situation. Is it just you and you're moving your parent in, or is it that your parent is coming into your core family where there's a spouse and children? Now, these are some of the questions that you should consider if you want to move your parent in. Your relationship with your parent. How are you going to talk to your parent about moving in? How do you talk to your spouse and children about moving their grandparent in their home? And how will it change the everyday living within the home? Will there be negotiation with them moving in? And what things will you not negotiate on? Other questions, if there's siblings involved, how will your siblings feel with your parent moving in? I've known people where the mother or the father stays with one sibling at a month at a time, and then they'll go to the other sibling's house for a month, or they'll live in one place for 6 months and they'll go to the other place for 6 months. That's a question to ask your parent and your siblings. Is that something that you want to do? Now let's talk about adapting your home. Are you going to have to make changes to your home? Will your parent be required to stay, if you have an upstairs, downstairs? Is your parent going to be required to stay downstairs and can't climb the stairs? Are you going to have to change that room? What about if one of your children need to give up their room for their grandparent? Are there any devices that you need, like grab bars in the bathroom, a raised toilet seat, ramps put on the house? What about if your parent smokes and drinks and you don't? How will you handle that within your home? And then let's talk about finances as well. What would the financial arrangement be? Will your parent contribute to your household? Who would manage their money if need be? And then if your work situation changes, do you feel comfortable enough going to your parents and asking them to help cover the bills and the expenses? Another thing to consider is time. What will your parent do during the day if you're at work all day? I guess, that'll also depend on their caring needs. Will you have to bring in a companion or a nurse's aide to tend to your parent while you're at work? How does your spouse feel about stepping up and helping with that? And will you have time for yourself as the main caregiver? Let's talk about your parents' personal care. Are you comfortable with helping them bathe or even having to change their adult diaper if that's your situation? Do you know and expect the changes in your parents' condition if they happen to get worse? Do you know what to do or what the next steps to take? And are you willing to accept help to come in to give you a break if you have to do all these? Because you see, every family situation is different. Some have parents live with them and they're still fully capable of, everything that they need to do. They can go and do grocery shopping, come back in, you check, you just speak. There's no extra care at this time given. Then you have some families who have to take on full caregiving needs, from the bathing to the feeding. So you got to look at your situation and to see, is it time for my parents to move in with you? There's many aspects that you have to keep in mind between the relationship, adapting your home, money, time, and personal care. If you have a family with you already in the home, you have to have this conversation with them to see who's uncomfortable with it and who's comfortable with it. And also talk to your parent. Your parent may not want to. And I know there's some situations where, if they're having memory loss or if they keep falling where it's needed. That's going to be a conversation you're going to have with them. I know there's a lot of older parents that don't want to leave their home. Is that something that you're willing to do? Maybe partly live with them in their home? And how would that affect your family in your home? So the tip for this episode about should your parents move in with you, start having that conversation now before you're forced into it. And if you are in that situation now where you have been forced into it, try to get answers for some of the questions that I mentioned this episode.